Have you ever looked at a map and felt like it was telling you a story? Not just a story of roads and cities, but a deeper story about who you are and where you belong. Today, we're diving into the incredible journey of a woman who didn't just read maps. She breathed life into them, and in doing so, found her way back to a home she never knew she had. Our story begins with Elara, a brilliant cartographer living in a bustling, modern city. Her world was one of precise lines, grids, and coordinates. She was a master translator, taking ancient, faded parchments and converting them into crisp, digital formats for museums and archives. Day in and day out, she traced the journeys of explorers and merchants from centuries past. She knew the forgotten trade routes of the Silk Road and the sea lanes of Viking longships like the back of her hand. But while she was an expert in everyone else's journey, she felt adrift in her own, adopted as a child. Elara had no map to her own past. Her origins were a blank space, a void that no amount of professional success could fill. Her work, in a way, was a search. With every old map she translated, she felt a faint hope that she might find a clue, a name, a place that resonated with her own unknown story. But the maps remained silent about her history, beautiful but impersonal artifacts of other people's lives. One afternoon, a dusty, leather-bound tube arrived at her studio. It was different from the others. There was no official seal, no museum label. Inside was a scroll of vellum, so old and delicate it seemed it might crumble to dust. As she unrolled it, she saw it wasn't a typical map. There were no longitude or latitude lines, no familiar coastlines. Instead, it was a tapestry of landmarks described in a language she'd never seen before, a flowing script that looked more like art than text. Landmarks like the weeping willow that kisses the river and the three sister peaks that touch the morning sun. Most cartographers would have dismissed it as folklore, a fantasy map, but something stirred in Elara, a flicker of recognition. She felt an inexplicable pull, a magnetic draw to its strange, poetic geography. This wasn't just a map to be translated. It was a puzzle to be solved, a secret to be unlocked. For weeks, she became obsessed. She cross-referenced the poetic descriptions with geological databases, astronomical charts, and ancient folklore compendiums. The weeping willow turned out to match a rare species found only in a remote, forgotten valley. The three sister peaks corresponded to a small, uncharted mountain range. Slowly, painstakingly, a new map began to form under her fingertips. But this time, she wasn't just copying, she was creating. She wasn't just translating words, she was translating a feeling, a deep-seated sense of belonging that grew stronger with every line she drew. The digital screen in front of her began to glow with a landscape that felt more real than the city outside her window. It was a map of her heart. The final piece of the puzzle was a small, hand-drawn symbol at the center of the scroller star, nested inside a crescent moon. It matched a unique birthmark on her own wrist. In that moment, everything clicked. This wasn't a map of a forgotten kingdom. It was a map left for her. A map to her birthplace, to her family, to her home. With the new map loaded onto her devices, Alara left her old life behind. Her journey took her far from the concrete jungle into a valley so green and vibrant it seemed to hum with life. And there, by a river shaded by a weeping willow, she found it. A small village nestled between three sun-kissed peaks. The villagers recognized the symbol on her wrist. They told her the story of a family who, forced to flee during a time of turmoil, had left behind their infant daughter with a promise to one day be reunited, leaving a Mappa lullaby in lines and verses their only guide. Alara's map wasn't just paper and ink or pixels on a screen. It was a bridge across time, a testament to a family's undying hope. She had spent her life charting the paths of others, only to discover that the most important map she would ever create was the one that led her back to herself. It shows us that sometimes the journey home isn't about finding a place on a map, but about drawing one that comes from the heart. Thanks so much for watching. If this story moved you, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more incredible journeys. We'll see you in the next one.